station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Straight ahead here on DC News Now at 6, longer wait times are coming for the blue, orange, and silver lines in the evenings. Why Metro is doing it and what they're doing to make sure only a small percentage of riders are impacted there. Plus, the community comes out to support a drag story hour in Montgomery County as some protest that event, what the county executive is saying tonight. And we're taking a closer look at those cherry blossoms. We'll find out what stage they're in. But first, here's meteorologist Scott Sumner.
Yeah, it was a little warmer today than yesterday, Annalisa, and it was a lot sunnier as well. Will that trend continue heading into the start of a new work week? I'll let you know about that. Of course, your full 7-day forecast is right around the corner. Stick around.
All right, thanks, Scott. Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us for DC News Now at 6. I'm Annalisa Gale. New this evening, Prince George's County Police are investigating a deadly shooting in the Temple Hills neighborhood. Police responded to the 3700 block of Dunlap Street around noon. That's where they found a man who was shot multiple times. His name has not been released. Detectives say a car was towed as evidence. And we have new details on a deadly shooting that happened near Audi Field in Southwest D.C. last night. The victim has been identified now as 30-year-old Kevin Sharp. Police responded to the shooting in the 1500 block of First Street around 8:45. A $25,000 reward is being offered for information leading to an arrest. Well, right now in Montgomery County, the community is showing support for the LGBTQ community. Many gathered to support the Drag Story Hour in the county following reports that the event was recently protested in the county. A few dozen supporters held up colorful umbrellas as police monitored a handful of counter-protesters. Montgomery County Executive Mark Elrich was among the group of supporters.
I want the community to feel supported and to know that it's not just them by themselves, but that we recognize the validity of their being able to do this. And it's important to other people to know that elected officials stand with them. So I wanted to be clear about that.
Elrich says the counter-protesters do not reflect Montgomery County and its values there. Well, we are also learning new details about a house fire in Montgomery County that happened early this morning. Fire and Rescue said that a chimney fire spread to the roof and attic of a house on Streamview Court in Potomac. Firefighters were able to get the family out safely, though they have been displaced in the meantime. And a commuter alert tonight for some Metro riders. The time you spend waiting for a train could nearly double on certain days and certain times. DC News Now's Joseph Olmo tells us why.
Yeah, hey there. Let's just start off with the good news here. Yes, this ultimately means that you're going to be at the station waiting longer for trains to come through. However, these schedule changes are only happening in the later evening hours when Metro says only about 4% of its riders actually use it during that time frame. So take a look. Here's what you can expect for the next 3 weeks, Mondays through Thursdays by 10 p.m. All blue, orange, and silver line trains are going to be running every 26 minutes. That means in many cases, you are only going to see trains running through the stations just about 2 times every hour. So plan accordingly if you tend to use the Metro later on in the evening. But again, this is only happening in the last 2 hours of rail service, Mondays through Thursdays from 10 p.m. until the system closes at midnight. The rest of Metro's schedule remains unchanged. And take a look. Here's the reason why all of this is happening. Crews are going to use this time to strengthen some of the transit system's oldest tracks, replacing concrete slabs that literally support the weight of these trains. You can see in these pics here, some of them are cracking, and it is no simple process to replace them. So best thing you can do right now, go to dcnewsnow.com. I have a full article up there of how you can get around these longer wait times at the stations. Again, that is dcnewsnow.com. Reporting here in the studio, I'm Joseph Olmo. Back to you.
And a health alert tonight. The company Reckitt is recalling 2 batches of its Simply plant-based infant formula. The product was possibly contaminated with a bacteria which they say can seriously harm young children. So far, they say that product had tested negative for the bacteria, but it has been recalled due to extreme caution. The FDA said that there have been no reported incidents of illnesses connected to this particular recall. Well, the Cherry Blossom Festival is right around the corner, and with some trees already blooming, will this mean peak bloom will follow this trend? DC News Now's Katie Reese stopped by the iconic tidal basin.
It's nearly impossible to predict when these cherry blossom trees out here at the tidal basin are going to hit peak bloom. But February 23rd marks the earliest that they've ever hit stage 1, or the green bud stage, in the last 20 years.
It's a special thing, and it comes at a time where you're kind of sick of the winter, and it's a nice pick-me-up.
According to the EPA, the peak bloom date has occurred before April 4th in 16 of the past 20 years. In the past, peak bloom has occurred as early as March 15th and as late as April 18th. Some cherry blossom trees around the district are already blooming, but the National Park Service calculates their bloom stage dates based on 70% of the tidal basin cherry blossom trees.
I just love walking around the tidal basin and seeing the whole thing lit up. It's pretty cool to see an entire ring of pink and white blossoms all around it.
The Cherry Blossom Festival is set to kick off on March 20th, but this early bloom and early bud stage already has people excited, especially Evgenia Shulga, who is visiting the district for the very first time.
I would love to come back during the actual season that they're here. I know it's short-lived. Even right now, I find beauty in the nature here, but I'm sure that once it actually sprouts and blossoms, that it'll be very beautiful.
The National Park Service says it's nearly impossible to give an accurate forecast any more than 10 days before peak bloom, but we'll obviously be keeping you up to date on that. So stick with DC News Now. For now, reporting at the tidal basin, Katie Ree, DC News Now.
All right, I think we're all looking forward to that. Their peak bloom usually happens during the last week of March and typically runs through the first weeks of April. All right, Scott. Well, yeah, definitely excited to see those flowers. I was talking to someone today and they were saying, oh, my flowers aren't out yet. And I said, give it a little bit of time. They'll come out.
Trust me, when you say that, they'll bloom before you know it. Absolutely. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see an earlier bloom this year because we have been quite mild. Look at today's highs, as a matter of fact. DC 53 degrees, 58 at Manassas, 59 at Leesburg, 61 at Frederick, 60 at Culpeper, 64 at Woodstock, and 56 out towards Cumberland's way. So you can see we've got a good amount of warmth compared to what we had yesterday, at least 10 degrees warmer in a lot of places across the area. All right, those are the highs for this afternoon. Well, let's take a look at what we have beyond that, and we'll get that here. There we go. We'll get that into motion. Temperature change, as you can see quite nicely, that it's a big boost to where we were just yesterday. Some 14, 15 degrees out towards western Maryland to 22 degrees warmer at Frederick and Leesburg. Not too bad on a Sunday. And with sunshine, it felt great out there. Now, you can see when we widen out from our perspective and look a little further down the road here, there are plenty of clouds off to the south. Those clouds are going to come back for tomorrow, and we'll have some rain showers associated with that. But tonight, no, we've got a clear sky, or mostly clear sky throughout the evening from 7 to 10 to 1 o'clock in the morning. So really not too bad tonight. Now tomorrow, it'll also be dry, but chilly in the morning with temperatures into the 30s here. So if you're walking Fido, make sure that you have a heavy jacket bundled up there in the morning. And as far as the headlines, rain returns Monday night, warming up by midweek. And watching Friday's storm closely. We'll have an update, or I'll have an update for you from what I said yesterday, and that comes up shortly. Annalisa.